welcome into a live episode of That Recap Show. Now, before we get into the episode, just want to let you know, major spoiler alert, we are going to be going over everything that happened in Season 4, both parts of Season 4 of Stranger Things. So if you haven't seen Part 1 or Part 2 of Stranger Things, you may want to pause this video. Go check that out on Netflix because both parts are awesome. And then come back later and enjoy the breakdown. Now, with that out of the way, let's start the show.
Poppin' Off presents That Recap Show.
Joining with me to break down everything from Part 1 and Part 2 of Stranger Things Season 4, it's Jon Jon Rico.
Hey.
Don't even fake out.
I was rocking out, dude, and I got abruptly interrupted.
I would like to say this, even though that we've had that song for that recap show for this long, I still go like this. Like, I can see that your little box, you were doing the same thing, but I'm just like this the whole time. I really like that intro music. I don't want to change it up. I do want to change up some of the visuals that are happening in that. So update it a little bit. We get some cool like Miss Marvel stuff in there and maybe some Stranger Things stuff in there after we're done talking about it. But anyway, Stranger Things Season 4, Part 1 and Part 2.
Yeah. Wow.
So much. By the way, I do have to sum this up. So much
emotional damage
happened in this season, both in Part 1 and Part 2.
Yeah. Tell me about it. Holy crap.
I mean, we had a villain who basically just attacked people that had emotional damage.
Yeah, there was some heavy themes in there, 100%. That was after the first episode, you really got the vibe of like, okay, no, they're gonna go there. Cool, yeah, okay, let's go.
and I mean, to your credit, you didn't spoil anything for me, but you were ahead of me in watching both parts. You started both sections ahead of me because you texted me and you were like, starts off heavy already. And I was like,
yeah.
Damn it. But I mean, so this is probably gonna take a little bit longer than our normal. Like if you've watched any of our Kenobi recaps, we were kind of just doing episode by episode for those, but we're basically encompassing all of Season 4, both Part 1 and Part 2 of this. So I mean, if any of you guys that are watching us on YouTube or on Twitch or even Periscope, I don't know who watches stuff on Periscope, but if that's where you're watching us, awesome. If you have any comments about Season 4 that you want us to bring up, let us know, because I mean, that's awesome when we get other people discussing with us. But there's plenty of stuff to talk about. I'm sure we're going to miss some stuff. I'm sure as soon as we sign off, there's going to be stuff that I wish that we mentioned. Or at least,
of course, always.
That I mentioned. Yeah, that happens all the time anyway. But
yeah.
I'm sure there's going to be stuff that we want to talk about, but let's just jump right in. I'll jump in with instant reactions. I mean, I already said it. Emotional damage right off the bat. From everything. This whole season was heavy. We knew it was going to be heavy. Because I mean, this is, the second to last or first to last season. I mean, we had to have something real big happen. And then Season 5, the finale season, is going to be our launch off, basically. And that's it. So we knew this was going to be like a no holds back type of thing. So much stuff happened. I almost don't like, I feel like we were talking about this before we even started. It's like Part 1 seems like it was so far away that
it really was.
Like, we were talking about this. We had to watch breakdown videos to kind of remember what happened because it's so long ago.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, if you're talking episode 1 of part 1, we're seeing emotional damage instantly with Elle getting bullied at school. Like, the last person you think is going to be getting bullied at school is 11, who can just take down monsters, literal monsters. I mean, it's just, it's incredible how far away the beginning of the season feels from the finale of the season.
100%. It also is a good good way to one. It's a good nod to Heather's, a movie that won when Winona Ryder was in, and kind of like that Mean Girls before Mean Girls type of movie, and but also it's a good way to show Elle powerless in a powerless setting, like in that one set when she just throws her hand at the girl and then nothing happens.
Yeah, yeah,
It's like a good way to kind of like one. It's almost like kind of humbling to Elle a little bit because obviously she just can't like just murk any kid that upsets her, but yeah, she's getting a real dose of that, that the cliche high school bully stuff, but that's what Stranger Things really does well, is kind of emphasizes those tropes of that time,
yeah.
and shown throughout all the different great characters throughout the season. But yeah, I loved all that stuff. Like you instantly hate that girl in
Oh,
that whole thing with the,
yeah.
because she's mocking the presentation about Hopper right away, and you're like, you
Literally,
bitch, like come on.
literally
Yeah.
mocks her because her father is dead.
Yeah,
Like,
it's just like it's a good way to
what?
kind of get under your skin, and like
Yeah,
you
what
hate the
is
character.
wrong with you? What
Hmm.
is wrong with you? Type of
Yeah,
thing. Like,
100%,
even if you
100%.
don't like someone, like that should be a moment of, oh shit, I should take a pause here. Like, I'll bully her when she does something ridiculous on a high school level, but like I
Yeah,
should probably shut my mouth right now, type of thing. Like, holy shit, man. Like,
but
she
again,
didn't hold back.
but it makes the payoff of that so much more sweeter too.
Yeah,
Like, and it's pretty brutal.
yeah, yeah. But getting right into it for references, there's only one that I can really go for. I mean, there's plenty of pop culture references. There isn't every season. I think the biggest one I've enjoyed in the past was when we got, the references for Ghostbusters, because you know me,
Of course.
I love my Ghostbusters. And so
Yeah.
when we had the Halloween episodes where they dressed up as the entire Ghostbusters squad, that's probably the ultimate for me. But I mean, we had just D&D itself, throughout every season we have a pop culture reference. But the reference that I have to match up, that has been stuck in my head, is actually our culture has made it into a meme.
TikTok
And
culture. Yeah.
yes, and it is the most perfect thing that I've ever heard, and I cannot stop listening to it, and I can't get it out of my head. So I'm gonna force
In my
everybody to
head
listen
too.
to it.
Yeah.
Yeah, now it is gonna be for sure.
Chrissy, wake up! I don't like this! Chrissy, wake up! Hey, hello? Time to wake up, time to wake up. Can you hear me? Wake up, Chrissy! I don't like this! Chrissy, wake up!
Oh, so good.
Have you heard the full version, the full extended version? It goes farther.
I didn't even know there was one. I think I heard it one time, but I need to hear it again. Like I need to go find it and listen
Oh,
again,
there
for
is.
sure.
So there's like a minute and a half version, and then there's like a 3 minute. Like, just finding it for this, I went
Oh,
obviously
for
with
sure. Yeah.
the quickest one I could, because I don't want us to get pinged or anything. Like, I don't know if
Yeah,
we get pinged, but I'm just saying, like, I obviously tried to do the least amount of time, but to get
for
the
sure.
the best part in there. But yeah, there is super long versions, and I've seen like skilled musicians and pianists that were like
Yep.
going like, why does this slap so hard, type of thing,
Yeah.
and like broke down the entire thing and played along with it, and they were just like, this is awesome.
100%.
It's
Yeah.
perfect.
I really enjoy that scene. And that was the scene that I was talking about earlier on where he's like, okay, they're really going there this season. And yeah, holy crap. Like that was what props to that was I saw an interview with the actor Joseph Quinn who plays Eddie, who was talking about when I think when he read that scene, or maybe even when they shot it, he was like, are you sure they're gonna let you like do this? Like he was actually surprised that they even like let them kill off Chrissy the way that they did.
Yeah, I mean, it's straight out of like not only a horror movie, but it's straight out of like an exorcism movie. Like, that's kind of like
100%. Like a
basically.
Hellraiser movie or something like
Yeah,
that. Yeah.
yeah. Like, you hear bones crack, like I don't even want to watch it again, type
Yeah,
of thing. Like, it's rough. Um, but yeah, all the kills were like that.
for sure. For sure.
I mean, even like if you want to skip all the way to the end, I mean, we got Max kind of basically experiencing that too. So, and that's
Yeah.
one of our main characters. But anyway,
That was brutal to watch.
yeah. Before we get too far, Rico, what were some of your instant reactions to season 4? And like I said, it feels like forever, and I'm sure we're gonna forget some stuff from the beginning, but like some instant reactions to season 4 that you wanted to definitely point out.
Yeah, 100%. I First of all, like when we've heard about like the kind of overlaying story that the Duffer Brothers have kind of laid out for this show throughout their plan, um, seeing this season now and seeing everything kind of really come full circle was like it was really that kind of like wow feeling I got, especially at the end of volume 1, when we kind of get that big reveal involving Henry Creel /1 / Vecna, which is like also props to Jamie Campbell Bower, who was incredible in that role all season, from his like kind of friendly nature with Elle to that like slight little change in demeanor when he like is finally revealed that he is Vecna all along. It's just like incredible. I think when we finished, we learned that he was also the character who played or the actor who played Grindelwald in the original, like the young Grindelwald in Harry Potter movies, stuff that. So like, oh, cool, he's got a little bit of evil past in him, and so now seeing him in a much bigger role like that, especially as Vecna, and knowing he was in the Vecna suit was even a lot cooler too. The effort that goes into that suit was absolutely incredible.
Not only the effort that goes into all of the suit on top of him, but you see some of the behind the scenes stuff where he's doing some extra voice work. He like most of the Vecna voice is him. It's not like
Yeah.
digitally enhanced. It's
Right.
like him.
It's incredible, especially when you hear him talk in his normal voice. Like it's the two are just so different.
Yeah.
Um,
Hello,
but
Martin.
yeah, what's up, Martin? How you doing? So yeah, some of the things I wanted to touch on, obviously, where we always get great character pairings in the Stranger Things seasons, and you know, like whether it's Steven and Dustin, or you know, really Dustin with anybody, but really like this season we're seeing a good dynamic between Elle and Will, kind of like a really cool brother sister relationship between them, because Elle went with Will's family to California, and seeing how that all kind of like comes together during the end when they're all reunited at the end. Um, just the way they have all these the 4 stories
Yeah.
kind of intertwining into the one thing. So we have the adults, we have the California team, we have the Hawkins team, and then we have Elle with Papa and the scientists and stuff like that, like trying to get her powers back and all that. And the way they all kind of, you know, again, they all there's that great poster they have where it's like all
Yeah.
4 of it, and the way they all converge. And now when you see the season, you're just like, wow, it's like even the thought goes into the posters.
Yeah.
But one of my favorite pairings, of course, is Dustin and Eddie. Just that genuine love that they have for each other was just so good. But I really do want to give a big shout out to the actors who played Dustin and Lucas, because their performances in volume 2 especially were incredible. Some of the best acting they've ever done. They've always been really good characters, but I think there were characters that really fell on some more of the humor side at times. I think Lucas was he balanced both pretty well because of his relationship with Max, of course. But then the way he always kind of interacted with the other boys. But all the stuff with Max in the last 2 episodes was just beautiful writing, in my opinion. And the stuff with Dustin and Eddie at the end was just boom, like mwah. And all of that with him and Eddie's uncle and stuff like that was probably like, if I'm gonna give some award nominations, I would give one to Dustin for that one. That was like some of his best stuff yet. And it's cool because you're seeing these kids grow up at a really extreme rate. And so when we first met him, he was that cute little kid with missing some teeth, and now he's literally just like a little grown man in front of us now, but he's still able to kind of fool off that little bit of charm that he still has as a kid. So that's really, he's, you know, props to him for sure.
Yeah. I mean, look, I love the Dustin Eddie. Like, I get it because it's more of they're in school together. They had this bond from D&D and from the Hellraiser Club.
The Outcasts, yeah.
But the Dustin Steve friendship was always my favorite. Like, even when we had him the last season where Dustin's getting back from summer camp type of thing, and you can see Steve is genuinely excited to see him and stuff like that. I missed that because it almost seemed like,
I think I like what they did with it this season, though, where it was like Steve was kind of a little bit jealous of Eddie because of that bond they had kind of.
I feel bad. There. Yeah, Steve is. I mean, this is crazy to say after like, because I mean we know somebody that we play video games with that just started the series and literally watched all of season 1 and is like deep into season 2, and to say this now, Steve is one of my favorite characters, and he probably always will be. But like, season 1, you're supposed to hate him pretty much, and you kind of do.
He's supposed to die too.
Yeah, he was, and I mean that. Luckily, they kind of changed their writing and kept him, because we really did get a really genuinely cool character in general. But I feel bad for Steve this season. Like he's definitely made a giant growth, like as a person and a character in general. But like, obviously, he didn't get the girl. He didn't get Nancy.
Yeah.
He's having trouble like with relationships in general, and like, Dustin, I think, was a genuine like friendship, like younger brother bond with him. And so like, yeah, just like you said, he was kind of jealous of the interaction that Dustin and Eddie were having. So I kind of just like, I felt a little bad for Steve. Like I was worried the whole season they were gonna kill off Steve. And
yeah, for sure. Especially the dive episode, 100%. Yeah.
Yeah. And especially like even in part 2, when we got Steve mentioning right before they go into the major battle, where he's mentioning like to Nancy, like, I always saw myself with like 6 kids and an RV and all this stuff. I was like, holy shit, do not send Steve off after he gave that story. Do not let him just get murked by Vecna right after that. Like, please don't let that happen.
But I think it's kind of cool that he's not technically like alone though, because he does have Maya, who he's kind of been helping out too with her problems and stuff like that. So it's like he's always looking out for somebody in some regard. And I've actually really enjoyed that kind of the way that like Maya doesn't take any of Steve's shit and kind of throws it back at him sometimes. So I kind of enjoy that dynamic a lot as well. But
Maya,
yeah, of course.
Who are you talking about?
Maya Robin. Sorry, Maya Maya is her real name, I think. Maya Hawke. Yeah, Uma Thurman and Ethan Hawke's daughter. I think her real name is Maya. That's why, because I keep seeing her name.
You said it once, and I was like,
Maya. Yeah, her name is Robin, right? Or the character's name is Robin. Yeah, okay, sorry. Yeah, that's my bad. I just keep seeing her real name on the TikToks and stuff like that now, and I just forget her character's name now.
Did you see the weird tweet that somebody made that confirmed that John Ralphio from Parks and Rec is related to Steve?
Oh no! What?
Like they've confirmed it. They've just been like, yeah, they're related. That's why they look like.
Oh, okay.
Because I mean, the times table works out. As long as Steve doesn't die in season 5, then it's technically could happen.
I haven't seen that at all. No, I never heard that. That's
I'll find it. I'll find it and share it to you. But yeah, there's
can't wait. So what else we got here?
Well, I was gonna ask you. You want to go to big takeaways?
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Why don't? I mean, big takeaways is weird because, like I said, there's gonna be so much stuff to forget and so much stuff that like we have the same thoughts on, basically.
All right.
I mean, let's just go back and forth. Like I'm gonna. I mean, I am gonna start. I'm gonna start with as far back as I can go. I really like the introduction of new characters in general. Like I mean, it makes the dynamic of the group fresh. So like we get basically the California group and we get the Hawkins group.
Mm-hmm.
And I like the introduction of, why can't I remember the name of the guy that works for Surf Pizza?
Argyle.
I
love Argyle.
I know. So I was gonna say, like, I love the introduction of Argyle in the California group.
Hell yeah, love him.
He's like comedic support, basically.
But he's important to the story too, because every single thing that they do, he helps them out with. Like, so he's not there. The California crew is screwed as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah.
He finds the tire tracks that lead them to L. He provides them with the salt bath tank at the other serve pizza place with Argyle 2.0, which is also hilarious.
And he points out that pineapple is in fact good on pizza, and he says, "Don't knock until you try it."
Witch!
Nope, not buying that at all. Blasphemy.
I'm not saying it belongs on pizza. I'm just saying it tastes good on pizza. I've had it. I can confirm it tastes good.
Nope.
I think Steve made the TikTok with the guy from Parks and Rec. He did. But there was an actual tweet. I'm not
I
talking
think I
about
saw that.
Yeah, I definitely saw the TikTok because they look at something and they go, "Whoa, that's weird," and they say it like at the
Yeah.
exact same time. I'm not talking about the TikTok. There is a tweet out there that somebody confirms that they're related in
That's
some
funny.
weird way, and it was somebody like in the business. It wasn't just like a random person going, "I think these two are related." So anyway, I really like the introduction of Argyle for the California group, and just like you
Mm.
said, he's kind of like the Mr. Magoo is I think the best way I can describe it. You don't think he's gonna help out at all type of thing, but he is essential to getting them to
Mhm.
11, to getting them to be able to help with everything basically. And then same thing for the Hawkins group. We get the introduction of Eddie, and Eddie is
Mm.
really a huge character that helps at certain points and helps the Hawkins group basically, essentially.
1000%.
Yeah, and I mean, to give the Duffer Brothers as much credit as possible, because I mean, can't give them enough credit type of thing. They've definitely constructed an entire world in a couple of seasons of a show, but Eddie's character arc went from he could be the next person to die when they first introduce him, and I'd be like, all right, to his death and going, holy shit, I can't believe like like, you know what I mean? Like, to give them like that emotional response in only a few episodes is something awesome type of thing. You know what I mean? Like, to build up a character in less than one season, really. I mean, arguably, because I mean, like you said, there were 4 different storylines going on all at the same time. So it wasn't like we just had, the Hawkins group, and then Eddie was a new character they introduced. So all season we have Eddie the entire time being a main focus type of thing. He's just one of 4 different stories going on at the same time, but we still have that emotional payoff by the end type of thing. So
Yeah.
I just think that was really cool. That was the biggest takeaway that I could do. But Rico, what was one of your big takeaways?
Yeah, well, I definitely want to talk about Eddie for sure. He from the jump, he's somebody that you're drawn to with the cafeteria scene, and kind of the way that first of all, his whole like when you first meet him, you're not really sure about him. I think that's kind of like the vibe you're supposed to get. But there's also but then that scene with Chrissy in the woods where like they start talking to each other, and you're thinking like these aren't two characters that would be talking to each other.
Right.
You start to see the heart that Eddie has. I saw a great TikTok, I think yesterday, that was talking about his acting in that scene. When he scares her, he kind of does like 3 different things at once. He kind of goes like, "Whoa," and then he kind of sees that he scares her, and then he kind of like checks on her, like, "Are you good?" And like those are little things that like an actor will do that will make you think about, oh, this character's got more to him than we're seeing. Um, and then of course that all culminates in that incredible scene at the end of the episode, of course, with the Chrissy wake up and all that, and even the way he plays that is so incredible because you're like, wow, he's being believably funny but terrified at the same time. Like it's almost a reaction you would expect that character to have, of course. And then of course that when we're seeing him grow later on, like as he's scared and he's running, and the way that all culminates into him not being scared and not running anymore at the end at the end of his arc is wonderful writing on that character.
Yeah.
And of course that all the interactions with him and Dustin are tear jerking, and and yeah, so it's uh I think it's really interesting that we got this 2-day jump at the end of the season because still a lot of unanswered questions with a lot of
Yeah.
characters, and
Yeah.
I'm very I really I guess the Marvel fan in you wants to be like, can you bring them back somehow? But I really hope that we can get some more Eddie content in some form, because man, this was his year. That's and it really was. So that was like, I think that, man, easily my favorite character of the entire season.
Yeah. Absolutely. And
And go ahead.
Oh no, I was just gonna say, like when we get into predictions and stuff like that. There's predictions of like, more Eddie potential that I don't want to talk
100%.
about yet. But
Yeah.
yeah,
But we can't not acknowledge the Master of Puppets scene. Like, I
yeah,
mean, for one, I'm going to talk about another scene right after this, but I really want to talk about uh that scene in particular, of course, and the way he dedicates that to Chrissy, like in her honor, of course, like that, which is like super cool. He's got bats tattooed on us, so we're seeing the foreshadowing in this already, like in just the character, but like come on, if you're gonna use one of the greatest songs like ever, in my opinion, like that Master of Puppets, boom. And I'm so glad to see that like people are like being drawn to the song now too. As a lifelong fan of Metallica, I've seen them several times throughout my life. So I was like, hell yeah, dude, give me more of this all day. And seeing a whole scene, this song was just like fantastic to me.
yeah, absolutely. And I mean, they have people. Did you see the one person who was trying to gatekeep Metallica to the people that were discovering Metallica just through Stranger Things? He tweeted to Metallica. I saw this come up randomly. Also, it was somebody going, I apologize to all the members in Metallica to get all of these fake fans from Stranger Things. And they answered and said, everybody is welcome if they
Yeah, that guy
enjoy
can
our
go kick
music.
rocks.
Yeah, like if they like puppets, there's probably other songs in our catalog that they're going to enjoy also, and we
Really.
welcome everybody to check us out, type of thing. And not only that, but like they've been making their own TikToks where they've been like playing along, stitching alongside
Mhm.
or duetting alongside
Yeah.
with the scenes of Eddie playing that. And
Yeah, they're fully embracing it, which I love, and what those guys do. Those guys love to have fun. They want to see everyone just have fun with
so
their music.
there's two crazy things about that, and I'll let you go back through it. First thing is, so somebody already kind of thought in universe theory about this, where Master of Puppets came out on that
Oh yeah.
album in like basically 2-3 weeks before spring break ish type
Hmm.
of thing, and that's when this whole season is supposed to take place because that's why Mike goes and visits 11 and stuff because it's on
Hmm.
spring break type of thing. So that means that Eddie, in between school, playing D&D and doing whatever else he does, he
Yeah.
learned everything from Master of Puppets.
Without the
Enough,
internet.
yes, without the internet. So just basically cassettes. So
Hmm.
rewinding the cassette over and over again. So that's the in-universe crazy detail. But also, so the actor that plays Eddie basically lied in his early auditions and interviews when they asked him if he plays guitar. He was like,
Ooh.
"Oh yeah, I play guitar." And so when he read what he was saying in an interview that I
Character
watched,
plays Master of Puppets.
yeah, he goes,
He's like,
he goes, "Oh shit!" And then he
yeah.
said he immediately went out and bought a guitar that day and just like started doing whatever. What the fuck?
Garbage trucks.
Oh, okay. He immediately went out, bought a guitar that day, and started practicing and started playing, which
That's incredible.
I admire the dedication, and it
Yeah,
is
exactly.
something like, I mean, you just have to be dedicated. And I mean, nowadays you got tabs, you got the internet, you got everything, and I'm sure like if you're an actor on a major show like this, like millions of dollars per episode type of show,
Yeah.
you can get an instructor that's gonna like help you with the basics to help you really get your building blocks for playing good guitar type of thing. But I
Yeah,
think it was
for
a
sure.
combination of the actor actually playing and one of the sons of somebody in Metallica, I believe, or
I
nephews
think
or
they said
something.
it was Robert Trujillo's son, if I'm not
Right.
mistaken.
But I
Yeah.
think it was like obviously it's a combination because you have the wide shots where it's actually, you see
It's
Eddie
yeah, and
playing
it's
guitar.
integrated with the song, like the actual song
Right.
too. So it's like obviously there's going to be some dubbing in there for the audio purposes, and obviously they can't take the recording of them when they filmed it and have it look as or sound as good in the show. So
Right.
yeah, that
But
makes a lot of sense.
it major props to the actor that played Eddie
Yeah,
to
you
learn
got
it
to play those chords. You got to make the chords look like that on the camera, and
even when you're
you
pulled
know for
back in a
singers like that, that's hard.
right, even if you're pulled back in a wide shot. Like I mean, there were
Hmm.
people analyzing it from when we got the trailer for part 2.
Yeah, people knew the song right away. That's
Yeah,
pretty
they were
awesome.
analyzing it from like 3 notes. So obviously he's at the right fret, he's at the right notes. Like
Hmm.
that was
Yeah,
him
that's
playing it in
incredible.
those. Yeah. I think that's awesome. But anyway, what were your you were going back to more takeaways. I apologize. I had to say
No,
those
not
2
at all.
things.
That's why we do this live. It doesn't matter. So, but I had to acknowledge also probably the best scene of both volumes, which was the end of season or episode 4 with Max and Vecna, which of course is the great running up the hill or running up that hill song scene and stuff like that. But it's that Max's whole character arc this season was really well. I think she might have had the best character arc, maybe over Eddie in my opinion, because of being a main character, of course. But all the stuff going back with her and Billy, and how that song factors into her relationship with Billy and stuff like that was just like really well done. And Danny, get off your phone.
I'm sorry.
And so,
to be fair, I was sending you a message. But
okay, yeah. But okay, so when her dealing with all that stuff and reading the letter to Billy at his grave was just like, man, that was some really heavy stuff. And of course, the way that they're able to channel her good memories, into how she's able to overcome Vecna was extremely powerful, especially with the way that the music is remixed into the score. And it's like the way that they do the run as she starts to get away gives you that feeling that you have no idea if it's gonna like what's gonna happen or not, even though like you feel like but you still don't. And so when you get that cut to black and it brings her back, and then she's I'm still here, but it adds of course a lot of weight into the scene in the finale, of course, where Vecna just does absolutely everything to her. And what they do with her, I'm not sure what they're going to do with her in the future, with their status. I think the writer said, as far as we know, she's brain dead. So I was like, what?
Well, yeah. So basically, essentially, and I could be wrong, this is just stuff that I've basically heard online and through theories and other people trying to piece stuff together, is essentially 11 was able to make her body go back to life. But
right.
At the end, when Ella's trying to, she has the bottle spinning and trying to go and find Max, and it's nothing but darkness. The reason for that is because Max is still with Vecna, because the whole thing is that Vecna takes everything that is that person when he kills them. So he takes everything from that person. So Max is an empty shell right now. So Max, like the Max that we actually know, is with Vecna still. So what 11 has to do is basically find Vecna that way, and then Max will be like a prisoner type of thing. And she has to basically bring Max's consciousness back to her body type of thing. And that's kind of the running theory for what's going to happen in season 5 with Max, at least, is that's kind of one of the running theories type of thing for that.
That's a good reason to keep her alive, for sure. Keeping that tie, and there's 2 people with ties to Vecna now, so it makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think, yeah. I mean, we can go more into predictions and stuff like that, but
there's
so much stuff to go over in predictions and stuff like that. I got to read some hashtag #1 fan Martin's comments. He said that was the main flaw of the season, trying to put out in the universe that pineapple goes on pizza.
Boom! It's right there. It's Hawaiian approved right there.
Martin,
It doesn't belong.
Martin, it's
Hawaiian
delicious. It's like this nice, just citrusy and cheese, and look, I'm not, and this is coming from somebody who doesn't eat pizza anymore. I just can remember liking it, type of thing, enough to the point where like I will die on the hill of. I'm not saying it belongs on there. I'm just saying it tastes good on pizza.
Nonsense.
Martin also said he thought Max was a goner at the end of Volume 1. Yeah, I mean that whole scene.
A lot of us did, yeah.
Yeah, like what Rico was saying. I mean, that scene was super powerful in the best ways possible, because just like you said, it built up to the climax of that scene like crazy. Like you really didn't know what was going to happen, and we got, I mean, really important information out of that. They knew how to keep people away, and it's something that other people that have been the upside down, because he was singing "Should I Stay or Should I Go" to himself, and he was able to basically fend off because they're saying basically the running theory now is that Vecna is the one who kidnapped Will in season 1, all the way back to season 1 type of thing. So Will essentially kept himself alive in the Upside Down by singing songs, not knowing that that's what was keeping him alive, type of thing. Just doing it to kind of keep his courage up, basically.
Yeah. And I think it's all really tied to feelings of love too. So he associates that song with Jonathan. And so
Right.
the same way that Max associates the song with Billy, but it also is when Elle needs to be pulled out, she's being pulled out by the voice of Mike. She's not being pulled out by a song. She's being pulled out by Mike's voice. So I think we're learning that's really the key there. And that's, something that Vecna doesn't have. He doesn't have anyone he doesn't have love. That's why that's the fighting power that will defeat him at the end. Love always wins at the end, right?
Right.
But yeah, I think that's a big thing for Will's arc going forward that I look forward to talking about.
I am super excited to talk about that. Before we get into that, I do want to ask you one question. I apologize that I'm springing on you now. I had so many connection issues, I didn't get to bring this up.
Mhm.
But what is your Upside Down song that would have saved you from Vecna?
Oh,
And I throw this out also to the chat. So Martin, anybody else who's watching us, I know there's a few people. There's definitely a few people watching us. What is that song? It can be multiple songs. Like I think for me, it would definitely be multiple. But what is one of, if not the song?
I got a couple song. One's funny enough is actually a Metallica song, and that would probably be "Nothing Else Matters." That's a song I grew up loving. It's always been been a family favorite of mine for a long time, and it's always been a song I've particularly enjoyed. One of the first songs like I've learned to play on the guitar because it's so easy to play at the beginning. But that one, and then there's a song from Santana called "Soul Sacrifice" that I really love, especially the Woodstock performance because it's one of the greatest performances of all time, in my opinion. And then maybe a little Seven Nation Army from White Stripes. I think that would be a good one. Yeah, that drum beat might, mess up Vecna's head. You know what I mean?
I like that. I can see you running away to that type of thing.
Yeah.
I like that. I mean,
Seven Nation Vecna can't hold me back.
I like that. I like you. I don't know if I could just choose one.
Yeah.
But I mean, there's definitely multiple. Like, honestly, like what's really crazy is I think My Own Worst Enemy from Lit would definitely be in like the top 5 type of thing that would like jog me to the point.
Just heard that in the Clerks 3 trailer too, which is great.
That's why I was just thinking about it. I was like,
it's a great nostalgia song. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
That's not a bad one.
But not only that, but like there's one Green Day song, and the reason I say one Green Day song, they've had a million good songs, but there's one Green Day song that I learned how to play because it was my dad always said it was one of his favorite. And it wasn't his favorite because of the actual song, but it was his favorite because of one of the lines of lyrics to that, and it's sometimes I give myself the creeps. Like that's the line. And I think that would be the Green Day song that would.
Is that the title of the song?
No, that's the lyric of the song. It's not Brain Stew. It's oh, this is gonna drive me crazy now. I can't look this up live and I can't remember it. All I know for sure it's not Brain Stew. Okay. Yeah, I'm gonna remember it like as soon as we sign off, just because I've been thinking nothing about Stranger Things and I haven't thought about the song. But I think that one, and then I mean, there's plenty of like new pop punk songs that I would probably be like, oh, this song's awesome. Like Vecna would be trying to kill me, and I would hear their pop punk song and I'd be like, this is cool. Like,
yeah,
you know what I mean? So like,
yeah, for sure.
But definitely those two. But Martin said he thinks he has multiple, but he hasn't listed any. So what's going on there, Martin?
You say you did hear there's going to be a time jump in season 5, though, which makes a lot of sense because the actors are getting older and the season's coming out in 2 years, so they're going to be even older. So you got to do some kind of time to just kind of like match the age with their looks.
Yeah. And I mean, we were hearing rumors of time jump before even we got season 4, basically. And there were rumors. Now we know they're probably not going to happen that way, but there were rumors that they were going to do like almost like an It thing where they were gonna give us like the adult versions of everybody, and so there were all of those kind of who would you cast?
Yeah.
For,
They
for the
turned into
cast?
the adult versions of themselves too, which is the funny part about it. Like the way they've, obviously the breaks in between seasons haven't done them favors as far as their story continuity.
Right.
So they have to do that in a sense.
Right. And I mean, they have been using DH tech, which is crazy to think about that they've been using DH tech, on Stranger Things stuff, because you really don't think about, like, when you think DH tech, you think of like Luke Skywalker in like The Mandalorian and stuff like that when they have him in there, or you know what I mean, like
Right, young Robert Downey Jr. in Civil War,
right,
that kind of stuff.
You don't
Barf,
think of it
barf
of
technology.
you don't think of it like, oh, these characters are supposed to be playing middle schoolers, but they're actually in high school. So
I think that's a good way to do it, though. It's just kind of softening up things to give them a little bit of a younger look, especially Mike, because the way that kid grows is he looks like a weirdo. Like if he's 14, that does not look like a 14-year-old. He looks like he's like a 6'3", like 20-year-old looking kid now or something like that. He's just so long and lanky.
He's 100% taller than me.
Crazy.
So.
His name's Finn Wolfhard, dude. That's such a badass name. Like,
I know. Not only are you an actor and you've been in like major movies and arguably the biggest Netflix series in general, but now you have a badass real life name.
Yeah, like if he played D&D in real life, he'd just like, can I just use my real name? It's
exactly. Yeah,
it's good enough. But yeah, that was we got to give a shout out to also the adult storylines too. The Russia storyline with Joyce and Hopper and is it Marty? Is that the guys that Brett Gelman plays? The black belt guy who's
it's not Marty. It's
Murray.
Marty Murray.
Yeah, Murray.
You definitely had.
I was close. I was right on it. But I'm a big fan of Brett Gelman in general. I just think he's hilarious in everything that he does. But I just feel like he's really great in this role, and
once again essential to that group.
Of course, and but also the stuff with like the pilot that double crosses them, and then Hopper has to give him the pep talk, or not even Hopper. Is it Yuri the guard? The guard that's being played by the guy from Game of Thrones, who's also a cool character. I really liked him, and I really like that he survived and stuff like that. But so we're not, dude, like every time usually when they kill people off, it's always the new characters, and so I'm glad they didn't just like kill off every single new cool character that we got this time. We got some.
We got the Hop Squad basically.
Exactly.
The Hop Squad that's important. We got the kind of, not the brains, but we got like the linguist, because Murray's able to speak Russian and kind of, figure things out with like, or fake guard and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
I do have to say this because it dinged in my ear while you were talking, and it's on my phone. So shout out to my dad who's watching. And he has informed me of the name of the Green Day song.
Oh, very nice, Daddy Otto.
It is Basket Case. And the reason
Case.
I knew I was gonna think of it. The reason why I always mix it up with the other name is because the other name is the very first song I learned how to play on guitar. Basket Case, I know for sure, is my dad's favorite Green Day song because of that lyric.
For sure.
So that's why I mixed it up. But
very good.
If I have to pick one Green Day song, that would be my Vecna proof song.
I approve.
But yeah. Do you want to get to predictions? I feel like we could talk for hours on predictions.
Let's go.
Yeah. All right. Do you want to go? There's so much to talk about, even for predictions.
Yeah. I'll just talk about. I want to talk about Will. Okay. So really, I think they've kind of started to really develop Will more this season after he got kind of a backseat in season 3 for sure, because he's just kind of like, guys, can we play D&D? Come on, I want to play D&D. And it's like, I was like, come on, man, why are you doing that to him when he was so important in the first 2 seasons, especially? But now they're really laying the groundwork for how big his role is going to be, especially in season 5. Danton, what's up, buddy? How are you?
Wait, Danton's here?
Danton's here, yeah.
Hey, Danton.
But man, okay, so like immediately right off the bat, they're doing the stuff with his painting from Mike. He's really excited that Mike's gonna come and visit, and the way that he's kind of like he channels his excitement for Mike coming like to California through L, basically. Like, oh yeah, L, like he everything he's saying, that like L is super excited and all this stuff is really like Will saying about like himself as well. And of course him kind of like the way he kind of watches from the outside of Will and Elle and stuff like that, and the way he kind of like calls Elle out for lying about like how things are in California and stuff like that. And again, that plays into the brother sister relationship they have. And but as like the California journey, the California crew journey goes on, at the beginning of volume 2, that we finally get that scene where he gives them the painting and kind of does that. He gives them that really like kind of touching speech, again channeling his feelings for Mike through Elle, and like Mike's love for Elle and stuff like that, which again is really well done. And of course him just like turn around and crying. Like, how does Mike not knows that a little bit? Like, you're seeing, you'll see him like kind of shaking his head and crying, but again, really well done. But tying that whole connection to Vecna back into it, and that getting that little chill in the back of your neck, and the fact that he can still feel Vecna out there. They really make a point to show a lot of the similarities between Henry Creel and Will, especially. Stop it!
Holy crap! That is the loudest
it's Friday. People want to drive trash trucks and motorcycles around, and they don't yeah. But I really love that we saw the scenes with young Henry drawing the mind flayer, which mirrors Will doing it at that same age. So I have to think that with Vecna being extremely weakened right now as a result of being burned and shot by Nancy. And of course, like
all we have to call it is Terminator.
Sure, Michael Myers, gets shot out, thrown out the window, and then you look down, he's gone. Just like that was
Nancy straight up T2'd him. Basically, that was like the end of Terminator 2. Like when Sarah Connor is using a sawed-off shotgun and shooting the Terminator into the molten metal type of thing. Like that's right from that.
Basically. Yeah, for sure. I think there's definitely elements of there's so many nods and references to everything. But you gotta be kidding me right now. The way that it kind of showed Vecna going through the Upside Down for the first time when everything happened.
It's okay. Wait, I'll get you covered.
Chrissy, wake up! I don't like this. Chrissy, wake up! Hey, hello? Time to wake up, time to wake up. Can you hear me? Wake up, Chrissy. I don't like this. Chrissy, wake up!
You good now?
Yeah, it went away.
I thought it was a good
right in front of my house.
It was
perfect. Yeah, for sure. So, okay, yeah. Vecna, when that whole scene when we saw like the full circle moment where Elle is the one that opened up the gate originally that sent him into the Upside Down, and I think that was like some of the earliest timeline stuff that we got, because it said 1979 or something like that. Everything's been in the 80s. So him walking through like that bare Upside Down and seeing the mind flare that he ends up creating, stuff like that. I wonder if he's gonna somehow find a way to either like fully take over Will, and is Will going to become the villain of season 5? I don't think it's going to end well for Will at the end of the show. That's all I'm going to say. I think if you're going to kill off one of the main people, I love that they say like, this is not Game of Thrones. Like, we don't have to kill off everybody. But if the ones that make sense to me, it probably is Will, just because of the way his story has been set up so far.
So I'm totally on the same lines with you. What would be absolutely crazy is if we get Will taken over by either Vecna or the Mind Flayer, whatever's going to happen with that. And basically it's a battle of Will versus 11, and seeing like,
that's basically where I'm leaning towards. Well,
she doesn't want to do this type of thing, but she's probably going to have to. And like, then you have like Mike, who's like, that's my best friend and my girlfriend. Like, you know what I mean? Like like you can have some real heavy stuff with that kind of storyline. Yeah, I totally agree with you. I think if there are two main characters that might not make it out of season 5, I could see it being 11 and Will. Like
100%.
if I were to, just play the card of they're not going to kill everybody off. It's not like that where everybody's just going to die and fade to black type of thing.
Mhm.
But I could definitely see an argument for the case of 11 sacrificing herself to completely close everything and everything is done for good. And Will also either A, they could go the storyline where he's completely taken over and there's no way to really stop him other than completely destroying him, or B, him having to sacrifice himself like for Will and 11 type of thing. So like I think both of those characters are on the chopping block. I can tell you right now, character I don't want to see die is Steve.
I think the characters that have been teased to die so many times are going to be safe, like Hopper and Steve, because like you fake them out so many times that like I'm like, why? How many times are you going to fake us out and then actually do it? But like if you are like okay, just do it or don't. That's what I'm saying. So if you're not going to do it, don't do it.
Shut up. What if they're listening?
Don't let them shut up. Yeah. But I don't want to see it coming, I guess is what I'm saying. Like I think those are the best ones. The ones that like the characters that you're like, oh, I didn't think that was what they were gonna do. Those are the ones that end up being a lot more powerful to me.
Side note,
Steve.
Shut up. Don't you put that evil on me, Ricky Bobby. Side note, it's becoming more and more like that when I watch Marvel movies now. I feel like my first watch through of new Marvel movies, I'm just like, please don't kill off a character that I really love. Like every single movie now I go in and I feel like I have to watch all of the Marvel movies like 2 to 3 times because my first watch through is me just going, please don't kill this person. Please don't kill this person. Please don't kill Wong. Please don't kill Wong. Like literally while I was watching Multiverse of Madness, I was just like, please don't let Wong die. Like, please don't actually kill Wong. Please, please, please don't. That was, I legitimately had to watch it again to really experience all of Multiverse of Madness. Like, I could say the same thing for Thor, but I don't want to. It's opening day, so I'm not going to say anything for Thor. But I watched it last night, and I was doing the same thing. Like, it was just like, please don't let blank type of thing. Like, so it's like that's becoming more and more like with my movies and my TV series where I'm just like, please don't let that person die.
Yeah. Martin brought up an interesting prediction. He thinks that Jonathan will be killed off in the final season, especially tying into the whole Will thing too. That whole I think he's got to be a bigger part in this because right, he was just kind of a stoner this season, which is really funny. But he's always had such a role in the season before that I think, but it's always had to do with his brother.
But not only that, but I could definitely see a Jonathan sacrifice because we've had a Steve growth, and we obviously got all the references where Steve and Nancy are kind of still attracted to each other, type of thing. Steve's obviously not going to go behind Jonathan's back. Steve is a good guy now. We had that character development. He's not going to go behind his back. But for Steve and Nancy to have a happy ending, something major has to happen to Jonathan. So I could definitely see
open that door for sure.
I could definitely see a Jonathan sacrificing himself for either Steve or Nancy or Will. Like there's literally 3 people that I think Jonathan could sacrifice himself for. He could do it for Steve, he could do it for Nancy, he could do it for his brother type of thing. And then that would lead to the happily ever after ending that Steve kind of already referenced with the Winnebago and a bunch of kids.
Yeah.
Stuff like that.
100%.
So, yeah. Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt.
No, I didn't want to interrupt you.
Now we've got in the comments Dan Tom's going Wong. I loved him in the latest
we'll go on tangents if you start diving off on those.
Martin's like, I don't even want to know. Tag Wong, Dr. Strange too.
That's so good.
Or we could go as far back as Spider-Man No Way Home. You can. I don't care if you do the spell. Leave me out of it. Like we can start quoting Wong now.
That's really funny. Yeah, no, I'll go on Marvel tangents too if you start going down that road. No.
Oh, wait until next week. By the way, preview for next week. We are going over Thor: Love and Thunder. So here's your notice. Spoiler alert for next week. We are going to be talking about Thor: Love and Thunder.
Am I the only one bummed that we were robbed of an Eddie and Dustin love story? Oh, we did not get robbed of an Eddie and Dustin love. We got a full-on love story with them. Never change.
But you know what I was a little bit upset about? So we got the California gang meeting Dustin's girlfriend in person.
Oh yeah.
And like everything is wrong. Like
what a chaotic household that was.
Yeah, it was so crazy on how she was saying like, "Oh, my household is all prim and proper and religious and all this stuff," and she's like the only one who basically is like that, and her father's like just a super like I guess demanding father or something like that. But it was just nothing but chaos. I feel like she just got the brunt of everything. But we never got a Dustin talking to Susie the entire season, both parts.
Wow. Yeah, that's for sure.
Yeah, that's weird. I thought like maybe like because she was going to get introduced in this, like helping them out, maybe she was like, "I'll just go with you," type of thing. Like, and then we had her meeting Dustin in person.
Yeah,
but it was weird. I mean, it was cool that we actually had some confirmation that some of the gang, other than Dustin, saw her in person.
Mm-hmm.
And
yeah,
I mean,
Argyle now.
Yeah, Argyle fell in love.
That's so good. I love Argyle so much. I want an Argyle spinoff. All Argyle all the time. That could be the title too.
And now he's in Hawkins. Argyle is just in Hawkins with the group now.
Yeah,
it's just like
he ain't got shit to do.
Like, what do Argyle's parents think? He literally went to work one day and then just never came home.
Yeah,
and they're on the West Coast. It's not even like they're around Hawkins, so like there's crazy news or anything. Imagine like you leave one day and then just never come back. That's literally what happened with Argyle. He just left.
Yeah. Into some wild stuff too.
Yeah.
On an adventure.
He's just gonna get adopted by Hopper and Joyce at this point. We're gonna have the time jump, and it's gonna be Argyle and Jonathan bunking in one room. It's gonna be Will and 11 and everybody. It's just like now it's just one big happy family.
Probably, yeah. But who knows? Like with the time jump, it's who knows where his character will be by the next season.
Yeah. Did you hear the rumor of we had the potential of this season? There was this rumor going around that we might have seen Steve's family. Because we get like weird references of Steve's family, but we've never seen his family. We just know that they're well off, basically.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I guess so. I never really been curious about his family, to be honest. Like, because the parents to me aren't interesting other than Joyce and Hopper.
Well, Joyce and Hopper, but we also I like how so we have Joyce and Hopper who are involved in every season and every step of the way, and they even have their own storylines in this season. But then we have Mike's parents who are like the exact opposite.
Yeah, Mike's mom's like pretty much just like trying to find a younger dude to hook up with, and it ended up not being Billy. And her dad doesn't care at all.
The dad is literally in one of the scenes sitting at the breakfast table when Dustin and some of the crew are talking about the plan, and the dad is so oblivious he's not even listening. The only thing he pays attention to is that Dustin is taking bacon and food off the table. Other than that,
he's in his own world. He doesn't care what the kids are doing. Yeah.
But it's just such a it's a funny. Ooh, my camera went real blurry for a second. It's such a funny contrast that they had in that, and it really goes to the attention of detail because we get this stark contrast between really the only other parents that we see a little bit of like all of their parents at one point. We see them for a little bit. We see Dustin's mom at some of the points and stuff like that, but they're really not that in it. It's really mainly we see Mike's parents and we see Joyce and Hopper. So we see 11's adopted father, and we see Joyce for Will and Jonathan. But it really does kind of emphasize how much more involved Joyce and Hopper are with taking care of the kids and making sure that they're okay, and trying to work with the
difference
team.
Between Joyce and Mike's mom are definitely big.
Right. Even from the first season, if you look at it, where Joyce is freaking out like that Will's been gone overnight type of thing, and Mike's mom didn't, like, she was like, oh, he's probably somewhere else, like, you know what I mean? She wasn't even really freaking out that much, like,
right.
type of thing. So yeah, it's cool, like story details like that I think it really flesh out the main character stuff.
100%.
So, but boy, I mean, I don't know what's gonna happen in season 5. There's so the one of the predictions that I wanted to go off of is the painting that Will actually made, and there is actually a D&D character that painting could potentially be referencing. I believe it was it Boris? I think it definitely started with a B. I think it was Boris. And it had to do, and that character might be the ultimate enemy that they're going to have to face, because they're always dropping more D&D characters and more D&D references and stuff like that. And there is a dragon that's super powerful in D&D and stuff like that. And that's one potential that a lot of people are pointing at, the painting being something, a reference for season 5. Not only that, but and I'll let you take this at any point that you want to, because I don't want to walk over a prediction that you have, but there are some predictions that are going around right now that we may have not seen the last of Eddie, because there is a D&D character involving bats and a vampire and a double cross and Vecna and stuff like that. And it was already referenced in season 4. You know what I'm talking about?
A little bit.
Cass. Cass is supposed to be the right-hand guy of Vecna in D&D. And he is a vampire. And basically in D&D lore, Cass ends up double-crossing Vecna and defeating Vecna in the end. And what they're saying is the definition of vampire is somebody that is bitten, not only bitten, but is killed by the bites of bats. So what they're saying is, the rumor right now is, what if Eddie comes back as a vampire? At first, he's, on Vecna's side. Like, Vecna finds the body. Because, I mean, as we saw in the 2-day time jump, the uncle still didn't know where Eddie was or anything like that. So it's not like they brought the body back and had a funeral or anything. Nobody knew that Eddie was really gone, or like perished, I guess. So obviously they didn't bring the body back from the Upside Down. So one of the kind of theories or rumors is that Vecna, in fleeing, found Eddie's body and kind of brought him back to life, and he will now be that character of Cass and kind of be the right-hand man. And then at some point in season 5, Dustin is able to jog Eddie back, and then Eddie is the one who kind of gives the final blow to Vecna and basically helps defeat him, type of thing. Which would be absolutely crazy to have him come back again and have all of that happen. Like, I mean, that would be major battle stuff. But yeah, there's so much crazy stuff. Like, I didn't know at any point, like, I didn't want to throw it to you with nothing. I didn't know how much you knew. That was just one of the theories I've been watching videos on, and I knew nothing about D&D kind of before I got into this, but like,
I still don't know anything about D&D, so it's all I just let the story play out as it does.
I like all of the videos on the references type of thing.
Mhm.
And it's, I don't know, it's not, look, major props to anybody who can play D&D, because it's all imagination based and hours and hours and days of games and stuff like that.
Yeah.
I don't know if I have the attention span to play that kind of thing. I need constant in my face stimulation, like Fortnite and Fall Guys, where things are just happening right in front of me the entire time.
Right.
But so I'm super impressed to anybody who actually plays D&D. I will never really 100% understand it, but I do think it is a cool concept of a game that's all built on collective imagination and collective storytelling gameplay type of thing. I just, in theory, I think D&D is such a cool thought. Could I play it myself? No. But it's cool, and I really like how it's kind of wrapped around this series in general. Oh, Martin said, I kind of wish I played D&D back in the day. I read it really quick. I thought maybe that he had said that he had played it back in the day. I was going to ask him a bunch of questions. Dan Tom did make a good point, though, that Argyle Argyle actually left with a company vehicle.
That's true.
He just never came.
Basically, like the Pizza Planet truck of Stranger Things now.
I know. Oh boy. But what else you got for predictions for season 5?
Nothing. I already went, so I'm all good. Yeah.
All right. Well, before we sign off here, does anybody have any predictions for season 5 that wants us? What did Martin say? I'd play if I knew I was going to have a great dungeon master like Eddie or Howard Wolowitz from Big Bang Theory. Yeah. So my first introduction to knowing anything about Dungeons and Dragons was 100% Big Bang Theory, because I do remember when Howard was a dungeon master and he was doing all the different crazy voices, because he was making like some of the characters be like real actors and stuff like that, and he was doing crazy voices. I thought that was really funny.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was my first introduction. Dan Tom says the D&D stuff is legit, but there are some theory videos out there that feel like they're just making it up as they go and connecting most of the random stuff. Well, I mean, that's every theory video. We have literally
No, for sure, because I don't follow any of the
nothing.
D&D storylines at all. So it's like I don't know if any of the past seasons have followed a direct D&D story from beginning to end as far as like the formula for the season. So yeah, like I don't look into too many of those also, just because I don't know how much of that they're really going to play into the show. Like, of course, I think especially because people love Eddie, I think they really want to attach themselves to that theory, of course,
Right.
as well. Yeah.
I mean, and this is some of my favorite stuff about, you know, the MCU and other like comic book stuff and things like that, where I love reading these kind of theories because I'm able to not get my hopes up on a theory, but I just really do like reading all about them or watching videos on them and stuff, because I like thinking about all of them. I'm not going to be upset if Eddie doesn't come back, just like I wasn't upset in, you know, certain cameos not happening in Multiverse of Madness and stuff like that. But it was really fun watching theory videos about potential cameos and about potential stuff happening and things like that. I really did. I like getting into that kind of stuff, and I like theorizing, and I like seeing what other people are trying to theorize and stuff like that, because we have nothing to go by right now. We really don't have any clue of what's going to happen in season 5, other than
I love that feeling.
Yeah, other than we know it's going to be wrapped up by the end, because it's the final season. They've already announced it. That's it. We get its end. So other than that, we really don't know what's going to happen, and it's full of potential, and it's full of like it was like what I was saying in the Miss Marvel thing. We kind of know where things have to end. We just don't know how we're going to get there, and I think it's really cool having that feeling. Now, this is going to be a lot longer of a wait, because when I was referring to it with Miss Marvel, I was thinking about from week to week. But, you know, same thing, just a longer time for us to all theorize about it, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
But anyway, that's what we think. Let us know in the comments below. What did you think of season 4, both part 1 and part 2? And look, I know we have couple years to really theorize about it, but what do you think's going to happen in season 5? Do you think we're going to get any of the main members of the group killed off by the end of it? Will Steve and Nancy have that happy ending? What are we going to get? And as always, don't forget, like, subscribe, and turn on notifications to hear about all of our latest video releases. I got to do it one more time.
You totally bait.
Chrissy